Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another one today. Make sure my mic was on. BYOP videos are some of my favorites because it just helps me to utilize more of my collection and just play around with my indie singles, and it just really makes me just fall in love with them all over again. However, this month's BYOP was probably the hardest one. So if you want to see me try to dupe the Shroud and BATTYBEAN Halloween palette, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think, and if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community because I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. All right, so if this is your first time here, the BYOP series is a series that I started with my friend Kelly over at Keep Beauty Real, where we were just talking about how we don't use our eyeshadow singles as much as we want to. So we thought that maybe if we created a palette each month based on a theme that, you know, this would help us to just enjoy our singles a little bit more. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially if you have a lot of singles, to just pick out what you want, and it's easier to grab a palette. So, but you know, singles are fun to swatch, but as I always say, they deserve to be more than swatched. So since then, we've had some other people join in. Kendra Morgan over at Kendra Morgan Official. We have Lock Maiden on Instagram, Stephen Ford. And there have just been some other friends of ours that have joined in here and there. And this is an open collab, so I would invite you to join us and share your BYOPs with us. I always say BYOP palettes, but that doesn't make sense. The Shroud Cosmetics Halloween palette. We decided for October, instead of just coming up with another spooky palette, you know, we're trying to just do some different things each time. This is going on our second year of the BYOP series, and I mean, we didn't want to just do the... Is that your dessert?
Yes.
Okay. What? Door. Thank you. Yes, please. I think I was saying, instead of doing the same thing each month every year, we just try to spice it up and make it a little bit different. Okay, so let's talk about the Shroud and BATTYBEAN palette. So BATTYBEAN, or Betty Jean, she's here on YouTube, and she did a previous collab with Shroud Cosmetics called It's Freaking Bats. I did not have the best luck with that palette, and I ended up switching out the shades or the shimmers to It's Freaking Bats. I can link that because I just happen to have eyeshadow singles that matched the shimmers that were already there that I enjoyed a bit better. So when this palette came out, I liked it, but I was a little weary of... I feel like he's coming back. Awesome. Oh, that's a lot of candy corns. I don't know what will happen if you eat too many. This is very on theme here.
Sorry.
We just eat candy corns all the time. It wasn't.
It's okay.
That's a lot. I'm sure they would agree. I think you should fix that. Tell Marky to put a little bit back, please. Tell Marky to put a little of those candy corns back.
Marky, Pope.
And he liked, when the Shroud palette came out and I saw it, I liked it. I just wasn't really sure of the shimmers, were they gonna be the same? I'm not sure what I did wrong with the first palette. I just decided to not get it for now. I also wasn't sure if I was going to wear those shades very often, so I kind of had a little bit of restraint, surprisingly, because it doesn't happen that much, but I did. So we decided this would be the palette to dupe. We wanted to dupe a fall release. I don't know if I said that because I was interrupted, and we thought this was going to be a good one, and it is. This is probably maybe the second hardest palette that I've created in this series. I think the first one that I thought was a challenge was the Reflection palette, and that was was it January or December? I can't remember, but we did a palette that was a reflection of our year. And that one was a bit tough as well. So this is definitely the second toughest palette because there was a shade that I knew I did not have, and I think it's the shade Crypt. So let me just show you my palette. The rules for the palette are that we choose 10 shades. Because the Halloween palette only has 9 shades, we've got a bonus shade this time that is gonna just add to the palette and make all of our palettes different. So I'm gonna show you what I came up with. And here is my dupe for the Halloween palette by Shroud Cosmetics and BATTYBEAN. Now, one of the tough things here were that some of the mattes I just did not have. These two right here, I just feel like not even close. This shade, I need to find a shade like Crypt, and hopefully I have a picture up somewhere. Maybe I should move over. I need to find a shade like Crypt. I call it a boogie shade. It's just splendid. I don't have that shade in a single. In any case, let's go ahead and talk through the shades that I chose. I will let you know the name of the shade and the brand, and I will also link in the description box where you can find the shades and whether or not they are discontinued. That's one thing I will check after I film because sadly some of the shades are discontinued at times. All right. Oh, and she's calling herself BATTYBEAN. So not BATTYBEAN, BATTYBEAN, maybe for Halloween. All right, so let's get started. The first shade in the palette is the shade Ghastly. And Ghastly is like this beautiful, deep purple, I would say. I have absolutely nothing of the sort. So I chose the shade Purple Sky from Sydney Grace. All right, there's Purple Sky. And there is the swatch of Purple Sky. I absolutely love this shade from Sydney Grace. It's not a shade that I wear really often, but I just, every time I swatch something by Sydney Grace, I just fall in love with them over and over again. So I thought Purple Sky would be a comparable dupe for Ghastly. Now the next shade in the palette is the shade Afterlife. And you can see that Afterlife is kind of a burnt orange shimmer. This shade always seems to come handy. It is from the So Fire KKW Beauty palette that is no longer in existence. And there it is. The shade is called Molten Magma. And there's Molten Magma. So the next shade is Crypt. This is the one that I just knew. I looked in everything I had. I even had Tyrone look. He's like, yeah, babe, like you don't have a dupe for this one. So I went with Geese from Sydney Grace. I'm still not very comfortable with this choice, but I really have nothing like Crypt. So there's Geese. And even now I almost want to go with something else, but I don't know what else I would go with, to be honest. So I'm gonna just stick with this. Geese is a matte yellow. And as you can see, Crypt is just, it's a boogie shade. It's a grungy shade. It's a mucusy shade. You know, it's one of those vomit shades. I don't know what else to call it, but I just don't have anything like that. No, that was very descriptive, but that's what it looks like. Going into the second row, we have the shade Woodsboro. The closest thing that I had to that is the shade Solstice, and this is by Terra. And that's what it looks like. I do know that this is a bit off, but I think this is the closest that I have. It is lighter than Afterlife, but this almost has a yellow gold kind of undertone in this one, where Woodsboro I think looks a little more pure as far as the orange. It's definitely off. It's the best I got though. So the next shade is It's Showtime from Beetlejuice. It is a matte green. I don't have a matte green that is that shade. The closest that I had is the shade Tempest by Sydney Grace, and this is a green, but it is a shimmer. And there it is. So yeah, when I tell you I struggled, I struggled. And that's a very beautiful green shimmer, but again, it's not a matte. So that's the closest dupe that I had. Next is Black Flame. Black Flame appears to be a duochrome. I just don't think I have anything as deep as Black Flame, and the closest I could get is the shade Smoulder from Clionadh. This is one of the stained glass shadows. And there it is. And you can see it's got a lot of depth to it, and it has that green duochrome flip. I moved the light. It was a little washed out. There we go. All right, moving into the last row. The first shade is Losers Club. And the shade I chose is by Looxi Beauty. And this is the shade Habanero. I do think this one's pretty close. So there's Habanero. If you are into vibrant mattes, Looxi Beauty has a lot of vibrant mattes, and they are my go-to when I'm looking for the vibrant mattes, because on Sydney Grace, their mattes are more muted, but you can find a lot of vibrancy with Looxi Beauty for an exceptional price. Next, we have the shade Ghoulish, and for that, I chose the shade from JD Glow. This is the shade Peachy Keen. I only have a few shadows from JD Glow, so I am happy to be using one of them in this BYOP. It's probably the first time I've ever used one of their shades in the BYOP. And this shade is really neat because it does have a peachy vibe to it. I'm not sure if you can see it. I think you can see it in the pan right there. So I really like that shade. And I don't think the the Halloween palette has that, but I thought it was special and I wanted to include it in the palette. And then our last shade is the shade Wicked. I have nothing like Wicked. Wicked is like a black green matte, and I have nothing that is that shade. I don't even know if I've seen that shade as a single anywhere. If I did, I didn't look at it twice. But I chose a shade from Copacetic Cosmetics, and this is the shade Chlorophyll, and there it is. And it's just a deep green. I did have this shade right here from Copacetic Cosmetics, Deforestation, which is kind of it's a green shimmer that has a black base. But I decided to go with Chlorophyll because I just didn't have enough mattes, and I just wanted more mattes in the palette. Otherwise it was just going to be two shimmers, so I decided to go with Chlorophyll. And I remember when I first saw the Halloween palette, I didn't know that this was, I thought it was a black initially. It's really, really deep. So that was going to be a tough dupe for me. And so was, well, I was going to say, so was the plum shade, but so was a lot of the shades, you know, in this palette. But it does give off the same vibe. Close but no cigar, you know what I mean? But, you know, I did my best. Let me just swatch Deforestation. I'm just going to swatch it up here just so you can see what it looks like. I just wanted you to see why I wanted to include it. And you see how it really has a deep base. And I think that shade is really cool. Reminds me a little bit of Blitz Emerald that's in the Sublime palette from Pat McGrath. I want to say that's more of a duochrome, but I just feel like it has that deep base, and I really like that. But we're going to stick with Chlorophyll, and I'm going to show you my bonus shade. My bonus shade is from Devinah Cosmetics, and this is from their Over the Rainbow collection, like the Wizard of Oz theme shades. This is the shade Are You a Good Witch? Sure. Ooh. So I wanted to pick this because I thought that the purple went with the vibe of the palette. Just like that Halloween vibe, you know, we see the oranges, the greens, the purples. So I thought this would be a great shade to include, and it's got a really nice sparkle to it. So there's Are You a Good Witch? All right, and here are all the shades that I chose for my dupe of the Halloween palette. Let me know what you think about these. Again, this was a really tough one for me to dupe. Hello, August.
Can you help me? Are you recording?
I am. Still? Did you say still? It's not like it's been that long. No. What is that? Did you cut yourself?
Oh no, that was my yo-yo, remember?
Oh, the yo-yo string. I'm mad your yo-yo string is making your fingers.
No, just Miss Terra.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all, you have to let me know what you think about this one, and if you have any shades in your collection that you think would be good dupes for any of the shades in the Halloween palette. It's possible that I overlooked something in my collection, so definitely let me know. I'm really curious. I have seen some content creators on Instagram duping this palette. I just don't think it's an easy one to dupe. There's just some shades in here that are really unique. And it's funny because I think that that may drive possibly me or Kelly or Kendra or Locke or Steven to actually get the palette because, you know, at least we're making a decision based on like, hey, we don't have anything like this. There's so many times I get things and then I'm like, oh, I do have, you know, I do have something like this. But this is one time where I'm kind of like, I don't have anything like this. So it's kind of neat. I haven't watched any reviews. I'm curious about the shimmers and how they perform. So that's kind of the one thing that's holding me back. All right, I'm gonna quickly clean my hands off and tell you what I have on my face. And then we're gonna just do a look on each eye just to kind of play around and have fun because this palette can go in so many different ways. And I really have no idea what I'm gonna do just yet. So I have on the #1 De Chanel skin tint. I have on my Dior concealer, Chantecaille powder. It's starting to be the same old, same old. Victoria Beckham bronzer. Let me tell you about this blush. Y'all be surprised. Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 blush palette. I decided to give it a chance. I'll just save my thoughts because I'm not sure yet. It actually just came today, which will be yesterday when you're seeing this, and I just decided to put it right on to see. Now, I love this color, but there's some of these little glitter flecks, and you can't see them from here, but I'm just not sure if I like that. My lips are Pat McGrath Divinyl Lip Shine in Flesh 7. So it's a deeper shade, and I thought it'd be great for this. That's all I have on. So let's do it. My eyeshadow primer, as per usual, is the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Eden. All right, so let's get started with the first eye look. And I really want to do something kind of Halloweeny. Let's start with the Habanero shade, which is this one from Looxi Beauty. I'm gonna take that shade on a BK Beauty 702 brush. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and start in the outer corner this time. Kind of going in a little slant direction. I'm also putting it in the crease. I'm just gonna swirl it around. Yeah, this is a really, really vibrant shade. I think it looks really nice. Part of me really wants to go into Purple Sky. I cannot tell you the last time that I've used this shade from Sydney Grace, but it is just so beautiful. It's deep and it's a really saturated shade. I don't exactly know my plans for this look, but I just wanted to do something that was out of the norm. Because lately I've been going for like the softer looks, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I also like my color too. So let's just do it. And I'm gonna bring it up into the Habanero shade. Try to have them merge together a bit. One thing I like about Purple Sky is you can really diffuse it out a bit, probably more than you'd think. And sometimes it's nice and festive when you have a shimmer in the crease. I don't do that too much, but it's kind of a festive vibe. I think it looks pretty interesting. Now the next thing that I think I want to do is I want to go into Are You a Good Witch? Let's put that on the front portion of the eye and kind of bring it up. And then I'm just going to use the brush that has a little bit of habanero on it, still not picking up anything else, and just circle it around. I'm gonna take the same brush and I'm gonna go into Tempest. Let's put that on the inner corner as a point. And back into Habanero with just more of a flat, fluffy brush onto the lower lash line. All right, there's our first little festive Halloween look, and I like it. All right, now we're gonna go into the second look. Let me show you this one. All right, let's get into the second look. All right, for the second look, I am gonna start with the shade Chlorophyll. And I'm going to be using the BK Beauty A502 brush. I'm gonna start with this in the outer corner. And you can see I did get some fallout right here. So I'll try to get that shortly. I'm just gonna bring it up. All right, that green is not coming up, so I'm gonna have to clean that up, but I'm gonna keep going. Now I know I definitely want to use the shade Smoulder for the lid. That's this one here, that beautiful duochrome. I'm also taking my brush into Smoulder. I mean, Smoulder is such a beautiful, like, could be one and done type shade. And I like that I picked the Chlorophyll shade to go with it because it already has like that green flip.
I want a hug.
You may always have a hug. I love you.
Okay.
You're my sweet prince. Ooh, this is real grungy. I haven't been wearing looks like this at all, so I don't know how I feel. Okay, let's grab, because this is a little right here. That is not what I need in my life. I feel like it was a little bit better, but not much. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I could have just done Smoulder as like a one and done. Didn't really need the green at all, but you know, it's not the point. Okay, not my favorite. Definitely think I like this one better, but we're gonna stay the course and we're gonna finish. So for the inner corner, I am gonna use the JD Glow shade. I'm gonna try to fix that over there just a taste. But for now, let's just finish up the look. This is that Peach. Oh, this is nice. Okay, I'm into. This almost looks. Okay, it looks the same, almost. That's pretty. Wow. That's pretty. I really like that. Huh. I am going to go back into Chlorophyll and just drag it underneath. This is like a really grungy look. I don't know. Chlorophyll, I'm like, is Chlorophyll expired? Because I just feel like, I don't know. This could have been pretty with the orange. I mean, there's just so many things you could do, but I know what I'm not gonna do is this, whatever's happening right here, I'm not gonna do that. All right, here are the two looks with my little Halloween palette. I am gonna try to clean this up, put on my mascara, and let you know what I think about this one. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I am back with the finished looks. So let me know what you think. And one of the things that I really like that I did with this look is that I used white liner. And that is one of the Linda Hallberg core crayons. This is white core. I thought that would be really great for like a Halloween type look, because white liner just gives like a certain vibe. Let me just zoom in again so you can see it. So I really like that with this look because it's so deep, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to put a deep liner. You can show them in a second. On my upper lids, I used a jumbo eye pencil by NYX. This is Black Bean. So, you know, you can use this on your lid as a base, or you can use it as a liner. So I just used that along the tops just to, and I like kind of rubbed it back and forth in the lashes. Okay, just to give it, you know, you don't have to leave, just don't make that noise. When I closed my eyes and took pictures of the look, I think they both turned out great. I think they both are like festive for Halloween. And I think they do represent, you know, the Halloween palettes and the types of looks that you can create. And what I also think about doing this, which is one of the reasons that I really enjoyed duping this release, is that you can show them in a second. Okay, well, you know, can't be patient. No, I can't come on. Well, you're being rude. What I realized is that this probably wouldn't be a palette that I would wear very often. I kind of struggled a bit. I mean, it might not have looked like it, but I kind of struggled a bit with the looks. And even though I think they turned out nice, I'm just trying to think like, would I really wear this look for real? And I think the answer might be no. And that's sad. You know, I realized that my eyeshadow style has changed a bit and it hasn't really come back around to really enjoying looks like this. I mean, maybe for a certain occasion, but just not on the regular. I think if I did have to pick a look, it would probably be this one. I think this one is really unique. I really do love the purple sky shade. I love the Habanero shade. I like oranges, but I really do like Smoulder as well. I just don't think I was a fan of the chlorophyll shade with it. So that might be something that I would change. I really do. Yeah, I think I like this one. Like the purple shade looked good. I really liked the inner corner highlight here, but I also like this inner corner highlight as well. This one gives like a glow. So there's definitely nice shades in this palette, of course. I'm just not sure if I would really, like, I don't think I'm gonna keep this palette and wear it again, if that makes sense. Now the shades I didn't use, I did not use the Terra Moon Solstice shade. I did not use the Molten Magma from the KKW Beauty palette. And I didn't use Geese and Lang. And I had a feeling I wasn't gonna wanna use this one because I'm not a huge fan of this shade, but I know if I had that Crypt shade, I would definitely have used that. So I don't know if they are going to sell, or if they are, someone can let me know. Do they sell these as singles? Because the Crypt shade is the one that's truly unique for this palette for me that I would wear. The Tempest shade, which is a matte in the Halloween palette, is not a matte that I would probably wear much, but the Crypt shade definitely is. So, that would be a thought, buying that shade as a single. Now, Purple Sky, they had a plum matte. I'm not sure if I would need that. I think the deep green that's in the Beauty Bean palette, that one is really, really unique. So maybe Crypt and then the deep green, if they sold them as singles, would be two that I would really want to get because I know that they would be really different. And the reason why I wouldn't get the Purple Sky is, did y'all see the new Teresa is Lethal collab? She has a really deep plum. I'm not sure if it's as deep, but I was thinking about that palette. Anyway, don't need to be thinking about any palettes. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and the looks. Let me know what you think about them. If you have one that was your favorite, I still think I'm leaning towards this one. Let me know if you have the Halloween palette, how it performs. Do you love it? I would really be curious to know. It's definitely a unique color story. It's just one that I'm not sure if I would wear too often. So I'll probably still am going to stay strong and not purchase it, and see maybe if they are going to release some singles if they haven't already. Let's talk about next month. So for October's BYOP, we are going to be doing a palette of jewel tones. So I'm really excited about that and just seeing what everyone comes up with. So again, if you want to join, please feel free. For the November palette, it will be we usually do it on the last Thursday of the month, but we may pick a different date because that would be Thanksgiving. So I will keep you all posted on a date for that. Please make sure you check out all the other collaborators in this month's BYOP. Their videos are all going to be linked in the description box, and I cannot wait. That's one of my favorite things, is to see other people's interpretation of the same thing. I think that's really cool. So real quick, August has a yo-yo trick. I'm gonna move, and after this we're gonna finish up the schoolwork.
Turn the camera a little bit.
No, I don't even
Turn the camera. Yeah.
He wanted y'all to know that, ooh, okay, KK. He wanted y'all to know that he still yo-yos. Yes. He was thinking that maybe y'all thought he doesn't yo-yo anymore, but I don't think anybody thought that. Okay, we're gonna do a little schoolwork real quick. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another BYOP video today. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. So until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.